The 5 things you need to get the deal you want. Hey, this is Kevin with Grand Strand Coastal Realty here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You can probably hear a little scruff in my voice. We've had some like 70-degree days here in February and some in January, so I'm a little scratchy today, but we're talking about the 5 things you need to understand or piece of information you need to get the deal you want. The first thing is you got to pull some comps. You got to know that the property is priced correctly. And what that means is check the last 6 months of sales for property in that building of similar size, similar attributes, or in the surrounding area. Kind of see what they went for. What was the final price on them? Know that that the seller is kind of in the ballpark, that they didn't buy, if they bought in 2006, early 2007, they may not be able to negotiate a good price because of when they bought, but you want to check into that. So pull some comps, figure out what the market says the value on that property is worth today. The next thing you need to know is days on the market. It's called DOM, right? Now, if the property's been on the market 3 days, you're probably going to have a little less motivation on the seller's part. They're just starting their sales cycle. It doesn't mean they're not going to sell it. It just means there hasn't been a lot of action yet. It's still new. But if it's been on the market 120 days or 200 days, they're probably like, hey man, let's get rid of this thing. So our average right now in Myrtle Beach is about 60 days on market. So kind of use that as your guide. If it's been on the market about 60 days, you're probably not the only one looking at it or considering it as an offer property. So keep that in mind. So you need to know days on market. Whether you are cash or financed, it's a big thing, and here's why. Cash, of course, speaks for itself. Cash is king. Everybody knows that. But if you're financed to a seller, it means it has to be appraised, meaning it's another step. It's another person to deal with in the equation. So finance is still okay. It's still strong, but cash kind of allows you a little more like, hey, I'd like to give you a little less, but you're not going to have any trouble in closing this deal with me because it's cash. The next thing you need to know is terms. Terms, when I say terms, what does that mean? Well, it means the little things in the contract that really kind of poke at the seller. A home warranty. Are you making the seller buy a home warranty? Are you getting one yourself? Or are you not having one at all? If you say that the seller's going to buy you a home warranty, that may rub them the wrong way a little bit. Your closing date comes down. How long do you want to close? If you're closing 90 days out, why? What is that? If you're cash and you're closing 30 days out, that's great. Finance deals normally take 45 to 60 days just because the bank's got to get all their stuff together. Your inspection of the property. When are you going to inspect? Are you going to inspect in a timely manner? I try to inspect normally within 7 to 10 days if I can, depending on the schedule of my inspectors. But try to get that done as soon as possible. All those things will play into whether the seller feels good about it. And last thing, earnest money deposit. Now, this is a deposit that kind of protects the seller. So if you decide 45 days in, I just don't want the property, that kind of helps them a little bit, feel good. They get some lost time if they pull it off the market for you. So earnest money, they may ask for more, but I try to stick to the 1% rule. If you put 1% of the purchase price or the offer price down as earnest money, you're normally okay. I never go under $1,000 if I can help it, ever. I never suggest that we go under $1,000 because that just means that we're not serious. The earnest money will be, it's saying how serious we are. Here's what we're willing to risk to get this property. So to recap, you got to have your comps in order. You got to have your days on the market. Know how long it's been on the market. Are you cash or finance? Know what that means to your deal. Have your terms outlined. Know what makes a strong offer and when it comes to terms. And have your earnest money straight. Make sure you get that check or the wire transfer in when you're making the offer. It makes people feel good. So those are the things you need to know to get the deal you want. My name is Kevin, Grand Strand Coastal Realty here in Myrtle Beach. We'll see you next time. Then I get to try to put it back together, yeah, fall apart and you count